So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Ischer, and I am the Senior Program Manager for the Work to Zero initiative. Today, we will be focusing on an innovative approach to saving lives at work. On behalf of everyone at NSC, I'd like to thank you for joining us for National Safety Month. Week 3 is focused on injury prevention, and I will be presenting on innovative solutions to reduce workplace injuries and fatalities. Whether the risk is MSDs, impairment, or working at height, technologies exist that can keep workers safe. I challenge you all to rethink the way you are currently solving safety issues, and I hope that something we talk about today will spark interest in digital change in your organization. Before we hop into the content, I wanted to talk about today's format. I'll start with an introduction into Work to Zero and our research, followed by a look into our new curated innovation journey. We should have plenty of time for questions at the end, and the Work to Zero team will be moderating the chat as we go. So please engage in the chat, introduce yourselves, your company, interest in technology, and how Work to Zero can support you. Make sure you send your comments to all panelists and all attendees so we can all see them. If you have any questions, pop them in and we can review those at the end using the Q&A chat. So Work to Zero, if you're not familiar with us, we are a grant-funded initiative funded by the MAC. Oh, sorry, it says that I'm having some trouble hearing. People are having trouble hearing. Hopefully this is okay. If you can put it in the chat and say it's okay. Okay, great. Hear and see is fine. Great. So Work to Zero is a grant-funded initiative funded by the McElhatton Foundation, and our goal is to eliminate fatality risk in the workplace with emerging technology. We understand that this is ambitious and it's controversial. Our goal is backed with the mindset that no fatality is acceptable. Everyone deserves to go to work and come home safely. And there are technologies on the market today that can help ensure workers stay safe, and that is why we are focused on working to zero. Over the past 25 years, the OSHA recordable injury rate dropped about 67%, which is great. But in the same time span, the workplace fatality rate only decreased 26%, with nearly 5,000 fatalities occurring. The stagnant trend in workplace fatalities is a cause for concern for all of us. As you can see from these pictures, we've come a long way in our safety approach. We have significantly reduced our injuries, but the same efforts haven't reduced workplace fatalities. We really want you to rethink the approach to addressing workplace fatalities. One example of a very dangerous task is working at height. How can we reduce, or better yet, eliminate the risk? Adopting new safety technologies can help do just that and design out the risk to the worker. If we can keep a worker's feet on the ground, we can eliminate the risk of falling. They're already using many of the life-saving technologies in our personal lives and in our vehicles, but we haven't yet used them in the work site. So that's where we want you to start looking at those solutions. This is the future of work. So how do we get there? That is what Work to Zero wants to help with, helping make innovation more accessible for employers to enable and empower them to achieve better engagement and performance in the EHS approaches. For most of us here, safety is a priority, but there are other benefits to adopting technologies with safety application. Innovation and technology can not only improve health and safety performance, but also increase operational efficiencies. Work to Zero is really on a mission to better understand the benefits of innovative safety practices through the adoption of technologies and developing tools and resources to help make innovation more accessible. Hopefully I provided some clarity into why Work to Zero is important to us. So I want to shift gears and share some of our research into hazardous situations and tech solutions. The first research project Work to Zero undertook was to look at Bureau of Labor Statistics data to figure out where workers were dying, with a focus on non-roadway fatalities. So our first objective was to understand just exactly that. And our second objective was to understand which technologies could eliminate the risk. We talked with safety professionals from mature safety organizations who have been using safety technologies. So let's look at the first objective. What are the most hazardous situations with greatest potential for fatalities? We found that working at heights was 23% of non-roadway fatalities, workplace violence was 13%, repair and maintenance was 12%, and construction and installation was 12%. So I want to ask you all, put it in the chat, what are the most dangerous situations you all are dealing with in your workplace? I see people saying driving, fall protection, traffic, falls. So this obviously wasn't a surprise for many of you. So we also wanted to know what is contributing. We found that worker fatigue, leadership or cultural failure, and lack of proper training. In our early research, we also wanted to know what some of the current technologies that are in the market that could help mitigate these risks. So what's out there currently and what's coming up? Most commonly used by EHS leaders were digital gas monitors, VR and digital training, permit to work tech, proximity sensors, drones, and load worker monitoring. I'd also be interested to know if any of you are using these types of technology. So place it in the chat, and I see there's a lot of engagement already, so thank you for that. We were also interested in learning about what EHS leaders and early adopters were looking at next. So they were looking at heat stress wearables, fatigue monitoring and wearables, down worker devices, and video behavior analytics. So some of the considerations and barriers when innovating. This is what we're really about, right? We wanted to break down those barriers so we can make innovation more accessible. What's important when innovating? Employers want to engage with technology that is effective and relevant to the risks their employees are facing. They want technology that can actually be a solution. Employers need technology to be easy to use. If the frontline employees aren't willing to use it and they don't trust it, they're not going to have great engagement. One of the most encouraging things we saw was that that lifetime cost and cost in general isn't the number one issue that they're worried about. So I wanted to ask you all, do you agree with these top considerations? What is most important to you when innovating? I see someone said money. Cost, unfortunately, is a big consideration. We understand that, so we'll talk about one of our resources that we've been working on to help sell innovation. Other barriers to adoption are not adaptable, lack of success stories, resistant workforce, and limited knowledge. So that's really what we've been working on, is creating resources and tools that can help you in this. So we're going to be using the poll function. I'm going to launch a poll in just a second. What is your organization's biggest challenge to innovating? Is it your ability to identify the right technology, organization's mindset and readiness, ROI? I'm going to launch that now, and you should see it pop up on your screen. Hopefully you're able to see it. So, yep, numbers are coming in. It looks like organization's mindset and readiness. I'm going to share the results for you all to see. Great. Thank you for answering that. When looking at this, we found challenges to innovation were ability to identify the right technology. And like some of you all said, organizations' mindset and readiness towards technologies. The Work to Zero team took all of these factors into consideration and have created our free resources, which I will talk about in just a minute. So who's ever heard of Industry 4.0? I'm sure we all have, right? Digital transformation, or Industry 4.0, refers to the fourth industrial revolution, focused on the broad networking capabilities. As we're moving into the next wave of industry and an increased focus on safety, we're interested in how we can help make innovation more accessible and overcome some of those barriers. When we started Work to Zero, we wanted to know how best to support our employees in this journey. And we found that there wasn't a defined process, and there really wasn't much support out there. So we created our safety innovation journey. These free resources use research and insights from our early adopters and leading industry professionals to make innovation more accessible, especially for our small to mid-sized employers or those in low margin industries who don't have a great safety budget. These tools are free, easy to use, and if used correctly, will help you get past all the trial and error our early adopters learned from. So here it is. We're really excited about this. Our safety innovation journey introduces 5 steps: understanding your fatality risks, exploring technology solutions, determining your readiness, making the business case, and piloting safety technology. So for this first one, understanding your fatality risks, To assist employers in understanding their risks, we are currently developing a web tool that helps to prioritize the use of technology controls based on hours of exposure. We're also developing industry spotlights that share information about the top industry-specific risks, data insights around fatalities, and what technologies are currently being used. And these are focusing on mining, manufacturing, oil and gas, construction, and utilities. So stay tuned. We have our web tool coming soon and a total web refresh coming next month. The second step is exploring technology solutions. So to help companies explore these, we have a safety tech locator tool that leads you to possible technology solutions based on your top fatality risk. We also have a suite of technology white papers and recorded webinars featuring drones, fatigue monitoring and wearables, immersive technologies, and proximity sensors. And we have a series of safety technology case studies to profile the great work that our industry professionals are doing. These case studies highlight both the lessons learned and the impacts of piloting safety technology, and they'll be available soon with our new web refresh. So here are our priority technologies and focus areas we've addressed so far and for the coming year. Be on the lookout for these webinars and white papers coming out over the next year. So last year, like I said, we looked at VR/AR, drones, proximity sensors, fatigue wearables and monitoring. And this year, over the next year, we're going to be focusing on camera analytics, EHS software and mobile apps, data and artificial intelligence, and robotics. So as you can see from the different months, different weeks of National Safety Month, whether it's robotics for MSDs or maybe impairment with the different camera analytics, all these technologies can really tie into the different risks that we're focused on. So we're really excited about that. So I have a quiz. Hopefully, I saw that people were still reading some of the options, so I'll go a little bit slower this time. I'm sorry. For the second poll, I'm going to launch it, hopefully. And it's asking, in 2021, the FAA reported nearly how many drones registered in the US alone? So 250,000, 400,000, 650,000, or 900,000. Some people are saying they cannot see the poll. I'm sorry about that. It does say that it's sharing and people are answering. Looks like most people have answered, so I'm going to go ahead and end that. So it looks like people answered with 650,000. Most people answered that. Also, the answer is 900,000. And one thing that we wanted to point out on that is if these are that common for recreational use, let's normalize them in the workplace. Just over 500,000 of these are for residential use. So I'm going to close that and move on. Sorry about this. Technology is so fun, right? I'm glad that we're able to engage with each other in this, but I'm sorry if you're not able to see it. The third step is determining your readiness. So determining your readiness in the safety technology journey is very important. Thank you to DECRA for their contribution in developing an assessment to help employers begin the conversation around readiness. This is a really crucial step necessary to support a smooth and effective adoption of technology solutions. We say a company can't just go out and buy a drone because it's pretty and shiny and then have an effective drone program. There are things a company needs to do before they are ready to innovate their safety controls. So this digital readiness assessment is a 15-question survey that tells a company how ready they are to adopt technology controls. These are the 5 steps of digital readiness and what you should be doing in each step. So the first is observing. That's passively exploring safety technology. The second is experimenting. So evaluating the proof of concept for safety technology. The third is adopting, investing in safety technology. The fourth is integrating, using technology to maximize the value for safety. And the fourth is transforming, driving new safety innovations. I really would recommend you guys check out nsc.org/digital readiness to take that survey and also get the contributing white paper. So time for another quiz. Of those that we asked, what percentage of employers surveyed reported to be in the observing phase? So that's where they're really exploring the technologies. I'm going to launch that poll and see what you all say. So again, what percentage of employers surveyed reported to be in the observing phase or really exploring technology solutions? Have some answers coming in. Thank you all for answering these. It looks like you guys were pretty much right. 39% of you said 30%, and that's the answer that we saw. And another 10% have been reporting of being unsure, which it's great that people are taking this right and understanding where they are. And we really love that you all are exploring these technology solutions. The fourth step in this is making the business case. So I saw a lot of you said that money and being able to sell that is really what's kind of pushing you back. So that's why we created these resources. Once you have a grasp on your top risks, technology solutions, and readiness, we have tools to help you make the business case for innovation. And as an EHS professional, I understand that this can be the most difficult step to show value in something new, especially. Implementing safety technology for high-risk tasks can lead to decreased workplace injuries and fatalities, reduction in claims and fines, lower total medical costs. So we have recently released 8 calculators to estimate the return on investment. There's a related white paper that will help you give more information on the calculators. And we actually have a webinar explaining the methodology behind these calculators. With our web refresh, we're also going to be focusing on working on a PowerPoint template designed for safety professionals like you. So you can really just plug in your results from the calculator and present it to business leaders. When you're making the business case for safety innovation, the core components are defining business goals, exploring safety technologies, assessing digital readiness, like we talked about, considering the ROI, and then building a business case. So I would encourage you to check out nsc.org/tech ROI to access our new investment calculators. We're really excited about this tool. And what's cool about this is you're able to kind of compare business as usual versus the return on investment utilizing these technologies. So I'm going to walk through kind of a case study on how you use the calculators. Sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. So whenever you go onto the website, like I said, nsc.org/tech ROI, this is what you're going to see. It kind of just asks a couple questions. So for this specific case study, we're going to be looking at proximity sensors for 5 pieces of equipment with 25 employees on site, and we're looking at the mining industry. So for this one, you can see that there is a ROI even in year 1. And for every dollar invested, the company could save $4.16. And I want to emphasize, we're doing this because we want to save lives and we want to make sure that everyone goes home safely. But it is so important to sell this case to leadership whenever you're wanting to use technology. So this is a great way to show that, technology can really help the business, those operational efficiencies, and keep workers safe. The tool also shows what operating business as usual could cost over 5 years. So this is the case if you do not use technology. So just no changes at all. This is what's going on in the workplace. Operating business as usual could cost over $120,000 over 5 years. So as you can see, it really can help to use those proximity sensors. And even more information to help you make the business case. The upfront costs are under $9,000 with an annual operating cost of just under $2,000. So compared to business as usual, these costs are really low, and small to medium-sized companies can do this. So check out those calculators and help make the business case for safety innovation. The fourth step is pilot safety technology. So for the final stage in the journey, we've just released the safety technology pilot and implementation roadmap to guide you through piloting a safety technology. Another thanks to DECRA for helping us with this. This roadmap is based on the Plan, Do, Check, Act continuous improvement framework, but we've adopted the roadmap to include 4 steps. So the first is planning, defining goals and defining values and business goals, considering management of change to assess business impact and ensure organizational readiness, which we've talked about. Preparing, build a coalition of digital champions, which I'm hoping all of you will become our digital champions. Determine data structure and reporting alignment, and revisit the MOC process, which is so important. Evaluating is the third step. So examining the ROI of the technology, which we just talked about, reviewing those case studies, and designing and selecting possible technology solutions. And the fourth step is innovating. So rolling out the technology, evaluating the data integrity, improving and monitoring throughout the process. Keep in mind that this is not a linear process. Depending on your readiness, you might start at a different part in the roadmap, and that's fine. We're just really excited to share this process with you. And we're gearing up to put into action, actually pretty soon, a pilot with a small aluminum manufacturing roadmap or manufacturing company that's going to be using the roadmap and all of these other tools with computer vision. Something else I'd like to tell you all about, in partnership with Lloyd's Register Foundation's Safety Tech Accelerator, we're kicking off our Safety Innovation Challenge, where we invite employers to submit their top safety challenges, and then we work together to identify possible technology solutions. A winning technology will be selected from a showcase that we had at the summit, and we'll be using that technology to pilot. And this is something that we hope to continue to do year after year. If you're interested in piloting technology, let us know. We can get you the application, and stay tuned for future events to see those showcases as well. So just a reminder, these are the steps in our safety innovation journey. Understanding your fatality risks, exploring technology solutions, determining your readiness, making the business case, and piloting safety technology. I hope this is helpful, and I'd like to leave you with just a few final thoughts on your safety innovation journey. When gearing up to innovate, it's really important to keep these points in mind. So for best practices and principles, learning agility really is key. We need to remain open to change and focus on the true collective why we're using these and really the benefits of the technology. It's all about saving lives and solving for risk-based challenges. We need to use effective change management principles to ensure we stay on the right track and are prepared for success. And also keep in mind, maintain focus on people and human-centered continuous improvement. And for that, really keeping human-centered innovation at the forefront of your projects. When you're gearing up to innovate, be cognizant of the mindset, skill set, and tool set. So the mindset refers to a human-centered vision towards innovation. We are committed to making our people first and keeping them interested in using the technology. The skill set includes the key competencies or knowledge needed. This could include IT skills, the ability to reach relevant technologies, and the tool set includes key structural requirements for innovation. So examples of this include capable and compatible networking, data structure. And it's common to be stronger in one or more of the areas, but when they are aligned, you'll be more ready to innovate and save lives. And if you're interested in learning more about this mindset, skill set, and tool set, check out the Pilot and Implementation Roadmap white paper. And I have just one more poll for you. Which of the following key areas needs most attention in your organization? So is it the mindset, the skill set, the tool set, or all of the above? I'm going to launch that one. Hold on a second. Here we go. So in your organization, is it the mindset, the skill set, or the tool set? We have answers coming in. Thank you so much. This is pretty common with what we see. All of the above, really. So keeping in mind all of that. So I'm going to share the results. It looks like some of you need to focus on the mindset, some the skill set, some the tool set, but really all the above. And that's what's most important. So please check out our white paper on our pilot and implementation roadmap to learn more about keeping these things in focus. So also we want to invite you to check out our recorded webinars. I know today I just had a few minutes to go over the ROI or making the business case for safety innovation, but check out our webinar on that. It's nsc.org/work-to-zero to look at our webinars. And also, we want you to save the date. So NSC Congress and Expo is September 19th through the 21st. And if you're interested, we're going to have a safety technology pavilion and 3 work-to-zero technical sessions. New releases that we're going to have at Congress is a workplace violence report, which we're really interested about. You know, you saw earlier that it was #2 for hazardous situations. And then we're going to have our safety innovation challenge case study. So the results from that showcase and pilot that we had this year. And then the Work-to-Zero Summit and Expo, that's coming up in February in Long Beach, so stay tuned. And with that, really just kind of want to open it up to questions and discuss, you know, what does the innovation journey look like in your organization? What issues are you dealing with that we could help with? And what's important to you when you're thinking about innovating? So open up for questions. Thank you all so much for engaging in the chat and the polls. It's our first time using the polls, so hopefully it went okay. Here's some questions that are coming up. There are dozens of technologies available for many different tasks. What would be a good number of technologies to utilize? I know a big problem for us is having too many programs handling small pieces of our business rather than 1 or 2 large all-encompassing programs. So I guess I would say it really depends on your organization. I think it's good to start with one technology, pilot it, and then grow. So something that would be really kind of easy if you already have cameras in place, maybe using camera analytics or computer vision. You can use those with the existing cameras that you have, add some software, and that can really help you understand what your risks are and get ahead of some of those situations that you're in. Some of the other questions that we have coming in. I see one that says, is hearing safety within the scope of Work-to-Zero? I would say that for Work-to-Zero, we're really focused on injury and fatality prevention. So we're focusing more on fatalities. It's not that we don't care about hearing safety, but it's not really our focus. But if you have questions, I'd be happy to point you towards some technologies that you could use for that. Had a question about when is the Long Beach event. So that is end of January, beginning of February, 2023. Other questions coming in. Are there any more questions? How do we apply for the trial technology? I saw that Kenna popped in there, the application. Thank you so much. Do you have software suggestions for construction sites? So Work-to-Zero is grant funded, and we try to stay very neutral. So we don't promote one type of technology. We're just really all about promoting all types of technology. But we do have a partnership with Safety Tech AI. It's a marketplace that you could check out to see what kind of technologies are out there. I would say for construction sites, you know, one of your biggest risks would be falling from heights. So you could look at computer vision, computer analytics, some different softwares that could help you look at those trends. Sorry, I don't have a certain software to recommend. There's a question that says, are there tools to also improve buy-in for these technologies from team members, not just the safety and business individuals in the company? So I'm guessing you're talking about the IT or the network component. I'd really take a look at that pilot and implementation roadmap. We have kind of that plan, do, check, act model, and it really shows how to bring in your digital champions, how to bring in the respective parties to pilot these technologies. Someone says, I'm looking forward to your focus on camera analytics. We have proven the technology barrier to technology is legal and employee acceptance of being monitored. Any articles, insights already on this? We are global with operations around the world. I would say tune into our camera analytics and computer vision webinar and white paper that we have coming out in August, so not too long. We'll be talking about barriers to this and helping the workforce be okay with having their data collected. Do you offer certificates for training? So we can, sorry about the dogs in the background. We can provide a copy of saying that you were here. And if you're interested in certificates for training as far as safety training with NSC, we do offer different certifications. Someone says, despite many initiatives over the years, falls remain the leading or amongst the leading cause of workplace fatalities. What does Work to Zero do different to change this? So I think what we're really focused on is eliminating workers from being in those hazardous situations. So instead of saying, put on your, your fall arrest system or your harness, let's look at how can we get those people not even doing those hazardous situations. So if we can have a drone do the inspection, if we can have a drone do the task, if we can monitor with computer vision and camera analytics to understand where some of the risks are, I think that's really what we kind of do differently, is questioning why workers even have to complete the tasks they're being asked to. There's a question around the messaging and rollout of a new technology or program can make or break it. Do you have any suggestions on successful rollout of tech to a culture who may be hesitant to change? This is where I would say it's really important to get the buy-in from the workforce. So that's kind of the looking at the mindset, skill set, and tool set, understanding the mindset of the workforce and getting their buy-in. That's something I'm sure we'll be learning more about with our pilot that we're going to be having with the aluminum manufacturing site, understanding, if they're hesitant to it, if there was anything during the rollout process that could have been done better. Stay tuned for our case studies and to learn from all of the learnings that we found as well. Okay, a couple more questions. What technology is available to mitigate workplace violence? So I would say kind of stay tuned on that one. We're going to be releasing our workplace violence report during Congress, so the end of September. Some of the technologies we're looking at are camera analytics and computer vision, as well as lone worker monitoring. So we'll have more resources on that later this year. Someone says, as someone new in the safety space, where can I find the steps on becoming more credentialed with my safety training and an EHS professional? I would say that NSC has a safety certification. I'm someone that's credentialed. I have a CIH and a CSP, so I would check with your organization, whoever you work for, to see if they will help you out in the developmental process. And if not, you can always just do a quick Google to BCSP if you want to become a certified safety professional to learn more about those steps. Another question, if you are interested in using the best ever world-class accident, okay, that's something from sales. See if there's any other questions. Someone making note that People Work, The Human Touch in Workplace Safety is a great book on how to get employees to buy into safety. Thanks for sharing that. Do we have any other questions? Doesn't look like it. I have dogs going crazy in the background, so I want to apologize for that. So with that, I'll kind of close out here. I want to thank you all for attending. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing, tune into our YouTube channel to listen to the recording. Yes, we will be at ASSP next week. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you at Congress. Bye.